this news and event, SERAP drags CBN to court over this ATM fee hike. Many people do not believe in SERAP, but I think SERAP still it's just an organization that still puts the government on their toes, kind of like a watchdog. So SERAP is an acronym for the Social, Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP. They have filed a lawsuit against the Central Bank of Nigeria over the failure to reverse what it is said to be patently unlawful, unfair, unreasonable, unjust increase in these ATM transaction fees. And I'm sure many of you have experienced it already. Now, CBN recently announced that ATM withdrawals is now made at a machine owned by the bank, but outside its branch premises will now attract a charge of 100 Naira per 20,000 Naira withdrawal. All right. So if you are taking maybe withdrawing money from a bank's ATM, all right, that is even outside its branch premises, 100 Naira you pay. But ATM withdrawals at shopping centers, airports, standalone cash points will incur a 100 Naira fee plus a 500 Naira surcharge. That's what they said. So if you have your bank having their ATM in airports, the national airport right now, and want to go and cash money, and you cash 20,000 Naira minimum, they will charge you 100 bucks plus 500 Naira surcharge. But if you charge it there, so what SERAP is saying that this is not called for, this is not necessary, this is very unlawful, this is very unattractive. They were saying all the whole legal English that I also support. SERAP is asking the court to determine whether the decision by the CBN to increase ATM transaction fee is not arbitrary, unfair, unreasonable. And they say it is contrary to the provisions of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2018. Don't forget that we're very big working in partnership with FCCPC2. All right, that's Market Africa, Customer Experience Radio. So they are quoting the Act 2018 of the FCCPA that is contrary to that act for them to do what they do. Let the court decide that. But SERAP is seeking an order of interim injunction restraining CBN to do what they do, or any of their officers or agents to hike these fees. All right, now, remember that the CBN governor, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, gave reasons for this raise. Even though when I heard the reasons, I had two different kind of reasons, but I was so angry at myself. He argued that the measure is a necessary step to improve access to cash, incentivize banks to provide better services, and ultimately support the CBN's financial inclusion agenda. For me, that was not good enough. All right, incentivize banks to do what? To provide better services. That's what they are in for. Excellence. In the first place, that is their primary goal. So we put money in the bank to give us good service. So don't say we want to incentivize them again. Who's incentivizing us to save money, to work out and pay money to the bank? So that is a basic call for the bank. So when he says that, so let me say that incentivize them to have money, I said, what is the meaning of all this? Does not really cut it for me. All right. It now says that you want to support the CBN's financial inclusion. For me, that was just a very clear English that probably did not cut it also. So Cardoso also explained that the decision to adjust ATM charges stemmed from the cash shortages experienced during Christmas time. Last year Christmas there was a shortage of cash somehow, and the CBN then said that he conveyed daily meetings to find solutions to the crisis, recognizing that banks needed appropriate incentives to ensure consistent cash availability at ATMs. Keep your ATMs now. See, the one I heard first and more was that they want to improve operations so that the operations can be good. But do you know that every year in, year out, banks declare millions of naira, some billions of naira as profits? I don't know. You run a business, there's operational cost. Why are we to take the burden of your operational costs? Everything transferred to the customers. Every month I get debits, maintenance of one card debits. I got VAT debits. I get this kind of debits. We have, when you transfer money to your friends and family, there's 15 Naira debit already on that one. So, they call it a stamp duty debit. All sort of debits. What is the bank doing for us? Nothing. Are they giving us loans? We don't know. But at least they're keeping my money well for me. Let them keep it well. So I'm not against what the bank service is doing. They're doing a good job. But to say you want to incentivize them and increase whatever it is so they can make money available with the ATM, keep your ATM. Pack up the POS. We'll go and queue in the bank. And when your staffs are stressed, then we'll know what to do from there. Because every penny that is put on customers right now, we feel the heat. Every penny, we feel the heat. 15 naira is a lot of money at this time. And so we didn't cut it. So if SERAP would drag them to court and the court in its wisdom can reverse it, beautiful. If they can reverse it and have a discussion, beautiful. That would be good. Wake up one morning, we see charges of one thing just pops up. That one just pops up. Telecoms increase their own sales operational costs. Everything just going up. We don't. I'm not sure I support that. But let me give you a small history. We're coming from a time when we use our ATM on your bank. So if you go to your bank, you have your ATM, or even anywhere your bank ATM is there. You dip in your ATM cards. You can withdraw as many times as possible for free. At first, it's your bank and your card. You can withdraw as many times as possible. Then we now went to 65 naira. We now went to 65 bucks. All right. Where you say, okay, that applies to when customer withdraws cash from another bank's ATM. All right. So other than his own bank, so you go there, you withdraw, and this is 5 naira will start applying from the fourth transaction. So I use bank A and I want to withdraw money from bank B. If I do the first time, no charges. If I withdraw 50k, no charges. If I do the second time, no charges. Third time, no charges. It's the fourth time, then it's 5 naira applies. It's still, we went from that place to the point where we now say, okay, withdraw, 3 times, you charge 300 naira, to where we are right now. Why is the country always bringing out policies that looks as if it's squeezing the people? It looks as if it's squeezing the people, because in the long run, we still do not understand what happens. We don't understand. So I would support SERAP. And if I was a lawyer, I probably would have be filing my own suit too. Guys, the next news is that Naira versus the dollar is a major test that awaits this week. We discovered that the Naira is gaining against the dollar in the past few days or weeks. So the exchange rate closed at 1,502 per dollar on the official EFEM market on Friday. That's February 21. It was a good one for us as traders continue to experience one of the strongest periods of rally for the exchange rate in over 6 months. But the NBS, that's the National Bureau of Statistics, delivered a surprise last week when it announced that Nigeria's inflation Nigeria's inflation dropped to 24.4% in January. We're like, what? How come? It was 34.8. A sharp drop to 24.48. What magic? What happened? And the Nigerian populace, Nigerian people are saying that drop is on paper because cost of items in the market is still very high. That's a very sharp drop. And don't be shocked. It's called rebasing exercise. So it dropped, a sharp decline driven largely by this rebasing exercise of the consumer price index. I don't want to bore you with so much economic terms here, but rebasing is a term in economics that is a process of updating an old base year. So maybe the base is XYZ. So what they do, that they just update it and say, this year, last 2 years or last year, there was XYZ, all right? This year, let's look at the reality. It's now WPF. So they just change the value. So when they change the value, what it does that it reflects changes in the prices of goods and services produced within the economy. That's what rebasing is. It looks somehow technical economically, but that's what it is. So immediately they rebased it, the thing just dropped. It wasn't because we were producing. It wasn't because we were doing anything, something. They just figure to figure. Somebody just say, put it down, do the mathematics, and she just dropped. That's just what they did. All right. Now, while this calibration presents a new statistical baseline, while this calibration presents a new baseline, the fundamental issue remains whether inflationary pressures have genuinely eased. Is it true? Has things really eased? That's a question. All right. So that's why I'm saying that you rebase, you put it down, you say it's even 1% inflation. Has it really eased? That's a question. Because despite inflation drop, Nigerian consumers lament high prices of goods, services. However, for many Nigerians, the drop in inflation is a paperwork and does not translate to any tangible relief in their daily expenses. That's what they're saying. I even hear that the Lagos BRT has even increased their fare. The inflation is telling on every one of us. But I think they say 14% or thereabout. How many percent that? 18 to 20%. That's Lagos State BRTO. They increased their own fee. And we are hearing on one other side of the news that inflation is dropping. Is that not a magic? The more you look, the less you see in Nigeria. Because you say that there's a rebase and okay, that the inflation has dropped. I wish they could say, from here to here, it don't matter to this place, it was before 20 Naira, it's now 18 Naira. Hey, you are talking. Or you go to the market now and you see things, people are saying they're transporting things in coming now, or fuel is coming down. So these are the things we're talking about. In any case, I got 3 more minutes. MultiChoice announces price increase for DStv and GOtv. They cite rising operational costs. Everybody's rising operational costs. Everybody. All right. Just the same reason as telecoms. So even banks once said same too, rising operational costs. All right. So DStv has increased it, and I have stopped using some things in my house for a while now, just so I can manage my costs too. But if you're still using DStv and GOtv from March 1st, get ready. South African broadcast company MultiChoice has once said that the increase of the price of GOtv and DStv will is an operational cost and will take effect from March 1st, and that's by the Chief Executive Officer John Ugbe. Quick one. I want to talk about Dangote. I like to come about Dangote for a while now. Dangote Refinery confirms readiness to meet Nigerians' daily petrol consumption. On Monday, he said this. On Monday, was just yesterday, that they are ready to supply Nigeria. Before we were saying that can Dangote supply to Nigeria? They said they are ready to supply the whole Nigeria. The politics that will be playing out in the next couple of weeks will be gigantic. I stopped at 3 NNPC filling stations today, and none of them had fuel. I was surprised. I was going to ask them, are you guys preparing for another? What is the meaning of this? 3. And I know those stations, they don't go off like that. So 3, it cannot be a mistake. And all of their staffs were running around the pumps. 3 today, just this morning. So I'm waiting. And Dangote is saying now that they are ready to supply the whole country. All right? They are ready. I'm just wondering what's going to be happening right now. So they said it at February 24, 10:40 a.m. by Dave Ibemere. Dangote Petrol Refinery has responded to a suggestion from NMPRDA that local refineries could not meet daily consumption. The refinery, owned by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, stated that it now produces 57 million liters of petrol daily. Now, the confirmation contradicts the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, claiming that local refineries can't meet Nigerians' petrol demands. But I'm going to say that I will meet those demands. Please let's give him a chance. We need, once the price of the pump price comes down, a lot of things, all right, will make sense. Guys, I want to close on this note. This is 2 minutes to the end of the show. Thanking many of you who have called in. I'm sorry that while I was on the news, calls were coming in. I could not take the calls all the time. But feel free to talk to me on WhatsApp. All right, 0703497031. Even though I'm not on air, I'll be with you and I'll be for you and I'll be by you. Okay. We have the Top Spot next by Berry, the female version of the Top Spot. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Like I say, that this country, Nigeria, will work for me and for you no matter what is happening. Guys, have a beautiful Tuesday. I'll see you again next week on Tuesday, 10 a.m. same time. Bye for now.